guys, I'm Sync.
And I'm Echo.
And we're back once again playing Phoenix Wright Trials and Tribulations. In the last episode, we got Ace Detective Luke Atme up on the stage to, well, he probably murdered someone.
Just think about it game way.
Yeah.
He was the only one who could do it because no one else was introduced.
Right. Exactly. And now we are about to hear what his heist plan was. So we'll get started there. At first, I received a request from Lodi Taylor about 20 days ago. The urn was placed in the box, and Zavari! It was sent to the warehouse. Hence, I was actually unable to see the urn for myself until the day of the crime. I knew it was extremely valuable treasure, so I sent my card 10 days beforehand. Then, I handled security by myself, to ensure that the crime would go smoothly. At last, I held the urn in my hands for the first time at 1 a.m. on October 12th.
That's pretty much all the stuff we've heard before, isn't it? Yeah, but we will find the truth hidden in the nuggets of new information he gave.
Witness, are you sure that there are no mistakes this time? Zavari.
That's not an answer.
Very well then, Mr. Wright, you may begin your cross-examination.
The sacred urn heist. Okay. First received 20 days ago. Urn was placed in a box, sent to warehouse. I received the urn to day of crime. New, extremely valuable treasure. And security by myself. First time on October 12th. So you're sure that you had never seen the urn before?
Indeed. And you may ask Lady Andrews to confirm this for yourself. But security was focused entirely on the entrance to that warehouse. However, I look at me, let no information whatsoever slip through my fingers.
I just want to know when this was created. This poster.
Yeah, before.
Is it gonna be the whole it has no value thing?
No.
Hopefully not. Okay, the whole no value thing doesn't exist on here. Okay. I saw by a Faye. I just saw Faye and I was like, oh, I'm gonna gotta do something with the urn. Kept out of sight.
Kept out of sight. Until very recently. And it was cracked. The paint on it was because it was cracked and was put back together. That's
I know
why.
she put it back together and she somehow filled in the cracks, but she couldn't wipe the paint off.
Maybe it was dried already.
So you can still get the paint off. You mean this calling card?
That's right! This is, without a doubt, my calling card.
I guess Mr. Delight didn't make this after all. Of course, because Atme knew about the album. Making this card authentic would have been child play to him. Then no one entered the basement warehouse.
Unfortunately, there were many different treasures being taken there. Thus, for a period of approximately 5 days, people were indeed going in and out of the warehouse.
And this is the photo that proves that, huh?
Indeed, to be honest, even if the photo was taken, I didn't think it would matter terribly much.
Hey, Nick! If this photo is a fake, Detective Admi might have stolen the urn whenever this was taken.
It might have been empty before.
That's true. You know, he's been saying that he never saw the urn until that night. If we can prove that he's lying there, we can wrap this up and put a bow on it. I need to go take a good hard look at the court record. Not a lot to go on, is there? The detective's been covering his tracks. There's only one thing we need to prove in this cross-examination. That he took this photo well before the actual night of the crime. Alright then, how do we do that? There's one thing that Admi stated very clearly, that he had never seen the urn before he stole it. We need to prove that he's lying. Let's see. He knew it was valuable, even though it has no monetary value. He wouldn't have stole it if he knew it was like this. Because it's crumbling, it's misspelled, it's broken. I don't know what miracle Adrian did on it, but it lost all the cracks.
She really has a skill for putting back pottery.
I know, right? If he didn't know what? If he didn't know, or he said he didn't see it beforehand. Into the night of the murder, or not murder, murder and death, same thing. Into that night. But there's by then they have this poster exhibit out for it of what it looks like originally. But okay, they advertise expeditions before opening day. So these posters have to be around advertising this shit. So he should have saw like this poster featuring the urn in all its broken masterpiece. And if he did, he shouldn't have gone for it. But, okay, he was hired 20 days ago. The calling card was sent 10 days ago. Give or take the amount of time passed in this case. By then, the urn was dropped and repaired by Adrian Andrews.
Dropped in the paint, put back together by Adrian Andrews, and put back into the box.
I'm not seeing this.
So go on, hint. And by hint, I mean going over the timeline of facts.
Not sure if the timeline would help me, because...
Okay. In that case, I'll go over it then. So, we want to prove that he has seen... that he stole the urn before it says that might have been an empty box that he was carrying out. And that he may have stolen it before because the timestamp only had time, not date. So, let's go Anyway, at some point, he stole the urn. When he was hired, the urn was in its broken whole state,
Or
as the poster shows. I don't have the time exactly, but then next, Agent Andrews is moving stuff, drops the box, and breaks the urn. She puts it back together and puts the urn that has paint on it, the box that has paint on it, and puts it back in. So at that point, the urn is still in the box. It's stolen, and then murder, I guess. So sometime between Agent Andrews dropping it, because it has to be in there to be broken, and the murder, it happened. That he stole the urn.
I mean, you just said everything I already knew, so that didn't actually help.
Okay. Do you want a different one?
Maybe.
Okay.
I'm just trying to think, like, what evidence they kind of want. Like,
Right.
I can see conjectures, but not, like, something that's straight up for be like, yeah,
Right.
this is it.
So, my suggestion is check everything.
I did check everything.
I have to politely disagree with you.
Wait, speckled urn? It shouldn't be speckled. I mean, it is now.
It is now, but it wasn't speckled before. You passed over it like 5 times and briefly checked it once, so each time it was showing up, I go in my head.
Mr. Abby, if you really are Master Mass, then you also wrote this calling card, correct?
But of course! Is there a problem with that calling card?
Allow me to read a passage from the calling card that Master Mass has written. Take good care of the speckled urn. Now, the speckled here surely refer to this pink pattern on the sacred urn.
Yes, that's true. But so what?
Truth to be told, there is no way that the mask could have known about this pattern.
What you mean?
This pink spotted pattern on the urn is actually nothing more than pink paint stains.
Paint stains?
And these stains did not appear until after the urn has been taken to Lordy Taylor.
I'm not finding this joke to be very funny, Mr. Trite.
The day that the sacred urn was taken to the warehouse, the urn was broken due to human error. Or should I say, any error-prone human. Oh my gosh, Phoenix. You're so rude! And that's when the pink paint got on the urn.
You can't be serious.
We can be, and we have the owner of said urn with us as our assistant. So if you try to deny this, you can't.
And the person who broke the urn herself.
And yet, this calling card clearly mentions the paint patterns. Which means, Detective Abby has seen this urn long before this crime ever took place. In fact, he saw it when this fake photo was taken. And because this photo is a fake, your alibi for the night of the murder no longer holds water.
Witness, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Alright, that did it. He's broken. Nick? I think it's still a little too early for a victory pose. Huh?
He's not done with his coffee yet. Ha. It's so sad. No one has any conviction these days. Conviction, you say? Yesterday, we all decided unanimously that this man was Mask the Mask. And now we're calling him a murderer? You didn't think we're being a tad fickle? That's a good point.
No way! Don't vote on that too, Your Honor!
You say that Luke Atme was the one who killed Kane Bullard. Then let me ask you this. Why would he do that? An excellent point!
Wait a minute. Ron doesn't have a red diamond. The red diamond is on his ring. This blackmail letter is for Luke Atme.
Yep.
I saw that when I was going through, and I was like, that
Yeah.
right now doesn't have to do with the urn, but
Yeah.
that was something I kept note of.
Yeah? Motive, Mr. Wright, motive! Might you be my merry murderous motive manifest?
The Nick, he's getting his second win.
Also, alliteration! If he prepared an alibi and pinned his crime on Ron DeLite, as you say, he must have some very strong motive for murder. The only one with any motive we've seen is Ron DeLite.
That's why he knew what color the envelope is.
Because
With his
he
hand.
got it, yes! And it's only addressed to Mask the Mask, not Ron, not Lu- Yeah. Isn't that right, Detective? Indeed. According to my own research, the boy's motive is clear. Without a motive, it's nearly impossible to prove guilt in the murder case. Now then, maybe you can enlighten us on what the defendant's motives are, or were. Thank you, Sir Old-Timer.
They're doing everything they can to make Ron look suspicious. Despite our lack of hard information, this may be our only chance.
Motive for murder.
Okay.
I, Luke Atme, had no point of contact with the victim whatsoever. Kane Bullard decided to investigate Master Mask and simply mistook who he was. It was Mr. Bullard who wrote the blackmail letter and sent it to Ron DeLite. And it was, again, Mr. Bullard who harbored a grudge against Mr. DeLite for his betrayal. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite unexcusable. Mr. Bullard's mistake is quite excusable. The defendant truly believes that he is Mask the Mask. That is why Ron DeLite saw it fit to kill Kane Bullard. Truly a tragedy. You good boy. So the victim, Kane Bullard, blackmailed the defendant? This is the blackmail letter found in the defendant's apartment.
Objection!
A handwriting test confirms that it was Mr. Bullard was indeed the one who wrote the letter.
Objection! I got proof that that letter is not for Ron DeLite. Well, what? Blackmail letter updated in court record.
Very well, Mr. Wright. Please begin your cross-examination.
No, wait, that's not the blackmail letter. Here's the blackmail letter. Found written by Bullard. No point of contact. Mistook.
That's right, mistook. From Old Norse mistake. Mistake meaning to take it in error.
Do not even try to get me to pronounce that.
Yep, nope.
That was what I meant.
Just who did the victim mistake Master Mask to be? Why, the answer is obvious. Run the light, of course.
Boy, I like to wipe that smug look off of this guy's face. Harder, man, harder. Why would the victim mistake the defendant for Master Mask?
Don't you already know that? Zavari, take a look at this newspaper. Oh, that is the famous Tear of Emanon.
That's the judge.
Oh, that's the famous Tear of Emanon, a magnificent jewel. That photo shows a magnificent detective. Well, does it not? Furthermore, it also shows an ugly guard, namely the defendant. The defendant? The victim clearly misread the article, and Zavari, he got the wrong impression.
What? Where is that? Gem and the thief stole the precious gem.
Guys, we go back about the actual text. About the first high guard and the ones for the light. Yeah, actually, never mind.
What? Okay, talk to me about this wrong impression.
The impression that this ugly security guard was in fact Master Mask.
What? If I saw this, I would. What? If I saw this, my impression would be on the one who's closer on me, on this so-called detective, rather than the security guard, but
I see.
That was an unusually reasonable deduction.
Hey, blackmail letter.
You mean this blackmail letter right here?
It says bring $50,000.
And the handwriting is, without a doubt, the victim.
There's no mistake. We have official report to prove it. But I don't see any address on this letter anywhere.
Addressee.
Addressee, yes.
An addressee?
This letter was discovered in Ron Delight's apartment. And Mr. Delight did show up at the designated place and time. The fact that there is no addressee is irrelevant.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
I wonder. What's up, Nick? I just had a thought. What if that blackmail letter wasn't meant for Mr. Delight? Whoa! Do you have any evidence of that? For some reason, I just can't shake the feeling that there's something not quite right about this blackmail letter.
Well, everyone, are you quite satisfied?
No. Am I supposed to present it? Because what I want to prove wrong was sent to Ron the Light. And what I'm using as evidence that it wasn't supposed to be for Ron the Light is the it's the red diamond.
Yes.
It's written in the black mode. I don't know if I have anything else.
Yeah. Go for it. That's the only thing that makes sense.
Nothing about this.
Yeah.
Not about the background. Objection! Mind if I ask you a few questions, Detective Atme?
Well, if it's just a few, I guess it's alright.
When you said that this letter was addressed to Ron Delight, I couldn't help but notice one major contradiction.
Contradiction? I don't know what you're walking.
We're a walking contradiction.
I don't know where a walking contradiction like yours gets off saying things like that.
You're the one to talk.
At times like these, men are made to express themselves with their fists.
This is why I don't trust men.
Why don't you show us what you've got there, Junior? Indeed, time to man up, Mr. Wright. Fisticuffs. Show us the contradicting evidence in the content of this blackmail letter. So, take a look at this. Take that red diamond you received the other day instead. So what contradicts this letter? What evidence do you have that contradicts this letter? Seer of Eminon is the only jewel. But that doesn't change anything.
Oh, wait. The portrait of Majida. Nah. That was the last thing. This was this should be pre-stolen urn.
All of it is pre-stolen.
Yes, it's pre-stolen urn. So the other day, they would have received the portrait of Morgina. Well, it was also given back, but the left hand of Hades is a sculpture.
They're referring to a jewel.
But they're referring to a jewel which was stolen.
And specifically
X
a red.
amount of months ago, a red jewel that doesn't exist on this jewel.
Yes, there's no. That's a blue jewel.
Okay. Oh wait, it is already present.
Yeah.
It's a blue jewel. Take that. Take a good look at this newspaper clipping. It contains a picture of the Tear of Eminon, the stolen jewel.
Well, what about it?
The problem is this jewel's color. Isn't it sapphire as well? Wasn't it sapphire and not diamond?
I mean, yeah. Color? I'm not much for discussing color myself.
Well, you should be. According to the clipping, the color of the stolen jewel was blue. However, in the blackmail letter, a totally different jewel is mentioned. I'll take that red diamond you received the other day.
Red?
That means the red diamond described in the blackmail letter is not the Tear of Eminon that Master Mask stole at all.
Objection.
Your point is, Mr. Trite? So what are you trying to say? This blackmail letter was intended for someone else? That is what you're trying to say, right, Trite? Is that what you're trying to say, right, Mr. Wright?
Well, is that what you're trying to say, right, Nick? Yes. this is who Main Bullet was actually blackmailing.
You couldn't press that button fast enough.
Naturally, it was you, Mr. Detective Atme.
Do you have some sort of basis for that claim?
That jewel on your hand. You have been personally involved in every single Master Mask case. And in the last case, you recovered what was stolen. And receive a jewel. As your reward.
A jewel?
Probably the one wrapped conspicuously around your finger. That red diamond ring!
Nah.
That is the diamond referred to in the letter. Which means that Kane Buller wrote the letter in order to blackmail you!
Nah. Order in the court! It seems you've gone too far with your childish pranks, Mr. Trite.
Are you just saying that because you can't wrap your mind around this?
Or if it forces to lose. Yeah.
Oh, I don't like the way he said that.
Kane Bullard blackmailing Luke at me? Are you for real?
Are you? Okay, if I'm lying then, where's that red diamond?
Yeah, where's the red diamond?
Where's the red diamond for that apparently Ron Delight has?
Yeah, right. Where's the red diamond?
Ron Delight gets money for his wife's spending habit.
Let's go over all the things he's stolen. Jewel of Eminon, which
Blue.
is blue. A painting, a
Sculpture,
and a
crown.
And a crown. None of those are jewels. None of them.
Except for one.
One of them is a jewel, and it's blue, not
and
red.
it's also sapphire.
So he doesn't have a red jewel of any kind, unless it's on the crown. But that doesn't make sense. So, yeah.
Yes, I am. Nick, come on, stand up to him. Yeah, listen to Maya, man.
Yeah, listen to Maya.
Ew, that blood slug.
Then answer me this. The blackmail letter contains the following passage. If you don't want your identity revealed to the world. Yes, it certainly does. Kane Bullard threatens to make Loot Atme's identity public knowledge. An identity that he wanted to keep secret. So, what is that identity?
Oh no, I don't know anything about the past of Look At Me.
Well, let's continue on.
Atme killed Kane Bullard because he was afraid of his secret becoming known. What was that identity he wanted to keep secret? This is what it all comes down to, Nick. The identity that Look At Me wanted to so desperately keep secret was his identity as. It's not Ace Detective because he flaunts that.
Yeah.
Master Mask.
Yeah.
Oh no. That is true.
Yeah.
Like I said, there was some sort of connection.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But wait.
But
Blackmail letters. It wasn't Kane that was blackmailing Ron. It was Look At Me. There was no partnership like I thought. It was just straight up Look At Me. Ron stole the thing and dropped them off in a specific place for Look At Me to get, and then he gives him money as compensation. But the fourth one, the painting, he returned and he received a red diamond in return.
Mm-hmm.
He's not Master Mask, he is a blackmailer.
Mm-hmm. That is a good catch because I've seen several Let's Players make that mistake and go for jumping straight to Master Mask.
Look At Me was a blackmailer.
Objection.
Hey now, isn't that a little different from what you've been saying? You said that Kane Bullard was the one blackmailing Luke Atme. Are you saying that Atme was blackmailing someone else on top of that?
Are you seriously not thinking that won't be a thing? Because I can see that being a thing. Blackmail on top of blackmail on top of blackmail.
Sure. There, yeah.
You have to admit, that does sound a little odd. No, it doesn't. What? Maya, you're supposed to be on my side. It's not odd. It's the only thing that makes any sense. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Look At Me. But Ron the Light was also being blackmailed by a certain someone. So, did you start
So, did you start receiving blackmail letters starting after this incident?
Yes, just a few days after the Tierra Emerald heist. After that, I started getting the plans in the mail. I received the plans from some very kind person. Incredibly detailed plans.
Detailed plans? In which case, that would mean that Ron the Light was actually Master Mask.
That is what we are claiming. Someone else came up with the plans and had Mr. the Light steal his targets for him. And that someone was none other than Look At Me.
Shh! Silence! Now I see. It's all becoming clear.
Well, what is?
When you were in grade school, you received the same report card every year. Careless, with the tendency to jump to conclusions. Am I wrong?
How did you...
You say that I, Look At Me, was blackmailing Ron the Light? In which case, I would naturally know about his relation to Master Mask.
Well, yes.
Ron the Light started receiving plans from his second crime onward, correct? Which means I learned of his identity when he committed that first crime. Good point. You certainly couldn't have blackmailed him otherwise. In that case, let's see some hot, bitter evidence. Bingo! go.
I know we were talking about the jewel that's like in the corner and all.
Right.
But look at this huge ass picture
Of him
with
in it.
Look at Me straight up in it.
Yeah. During the first crime, how did Luke at me know that Rhonda Light was Master Mask?
Is the right one? Okay. Bam! I think I see it.
See what?
When you were in grade school, we received the same report every year. Get into lots of mischief trying to be the center of attention.
What do you mean?
This newspaper clipping. It has a picture of you and Rhonda Light in his guard uniform. It seems that Master Mask didn't just disappear into thin air. He just took off his outfit and hid it in a bucket.
That sounds far too stupid to be true.
Correct. With tricks like that, he couldn't fool a baby, let alone an ace detective. That's when you figured it out, Mr. Atme. That's when you learned that under his mask, Master Mask was really Rhonda Light.
What the? Wasn't he supposed to be Master Mask? Not only that, it looks like he wasn't even an ace detective.
Can't believe it, he was just a slimy blackmailer. What a fraud, trying to pass himself off as an ace detective.
Why you? How dare you expose me like that?
He admitted it.
Why I mean, I never blacked anyone in my life. I'm famous to be proud ace detective and also Master Mask. Why can't you understand that?
I'm afraid you're neither a proud thief nor an ace detective. You're a blackmailer and a murderer. That is your true identity.
Why you? How dare you try to... Okay.
No, you
There are-
can't white tried nut yourself, big mouth, you're fools. I say none can compare genius, jealous, saloon, the red, it's a great detective can handle blackmail, murder, drive to get away from it. Ha 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 ha.
It's enough to make one laugh. Thank you for taking over for me, Echo.
I just said random words.
That you saw, yeah. It would seem that we finally have gotten to the real answer.
That was quite a performance by Mr. Atme.
Bailiff, please prepare the cell for Mr. Atme.
Objection!
Oh no. Are we gonna spit again?
That hammer. That strikes too fast and has no time to aim. Well, what do you mean? I'm already prepared to deliver my sentence. Allow me to say one thing. I will not be one to judge.
I will be the one.
I will be the one to judge, thank you.
No! You cannot be the one to judge! You are not the judge! That is not your job! You don't get much more in your face than that.
It appears that your claws weren't quite sharp enough, Mr. Trite.
But where do you?
It is true that you've proven a lot of things. Things like Luke Atme was a filthy blackmailer. And that he wasn't Lordy Atme, Lordy Taylor that night of the murder.
That's right. That's why he's the one who killed Mr. Bond.
But there's still one thing you have to get to prove. What's that?
Okay, we've proven murder. We've proven that his alibi is Bo. Or we proven motive, not murder.
Motive, yes.
Yes. Motive, that his alibi was Bo, so he has no alibi. We've proven that he knew that the urn had paint on it when it's not supposed to. I guess, well, let's see what he is.
But because he wasn't at the warehouse doesn't mean he was at the murder scene. Therefore, if you can't prove that this pitiful excuse for a man was at KB Security, then I don't see how a verdict could be delivered. I mean, he's right. We haven't proved that he murdered anyone.
No way!
Order! Order in the court! Well, Mr. Wright?
This is it. This is the final round. I've got to prove that Atme was at Mr. Buller's office on that night. But can you really prove that?
That's long enough. Mr. Trite, I want to hear your answer.
That night, Luke Atme was at KB Security and the defense... I mean, he he doesn't have gloves. Oh, I mean, he does have gloves, so he could have pressed the buzzer and have no fingerprint on it. But we can't. That doesn't prove.
But was he dressed as Mask the Mask? Remember, he took the photo before, so he wasn't dressed as Mask the Mask.
Yeah, but he wear gloves even without Mask the Mask, so that doesn't matter.
Right. I forgot about that. Yeah.
We don't.
We don't.
Can't prove it.
Can't prove it.
I can't prove it.
Just as I thought.
But if we hear more of Detective Atmy's testimony,
Objection.
Unfortunately, that's as far as you go, Mr. Trite.
but you haven't presented anything that proves that
Counter evidence.
You haven't proved any. You didn't show any counter evidence that showed that he wasn't there at KB security.
Right.
So still, right now, everything is still speculation, including your case that Rhonda Light did it. Well, what do you mean?
I won't allow for any more testimony. That's what I mean.
What?
Have you forgotten? Luke Atme is here after we interrupted his own trial. And you have failed to prove that he committed the murder. I think it's time for this witness to return to his own trial. And face his guilty verdict as Mask the Mask.
No.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all.
What love?
I am the ace detective, as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Run the Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness. Order! Order in the court! That's enough! Deliberation over this witness.
I can't believe this. At this rate, Ron is. Don't I give it up now, Dick? We still have tomorrow. We can look for more evidence and... By then, it'll be too late. Huh? Why? Because he's convicted.
Double jeopardy. One of the basic rules of any court of law.
Double jeopardy?
Should a defendant be tried and found innocent in court, that defendant cannot be tried again for the same crime. This is a fundamental rule of all courts. It applies to this witness as much as it applies to anyone else. Mr. Atme will be found guilty in a matter of minutes. Guilty as Mask the Mask, which means he will be found innocent and as far as the murder of Kane Bullard is concerned.
No way!
The fact that you were unable to prove Mr. Atme's guilt of that crime here means that he will never again be tried as Kane Bullard's murderer.
Now there's nothing I can possibly do to win. Even if Ron is proclaimed to be innocent, the real killer, Look at Me, will go free. Well, free for the murder.
Right. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today. And as long as there is no room more testimony, I'm afraid I have to declare that there will be no further questioning of this witness.
Can the prosecutor just declare no more testimony? Even though he's like, kind of our witness?
Are there any objections?
Yes. I have to do it.
Then I hereby end the cross-examination of Luke Atme.
Objection! I think I see it. Your Honor, when you were in a child.
No!
Oh no!
God bless the Ace Attorney series. Guys, if you can, buy the physical releases just to support the beautiful shelf image that you will get. But please, Buy the HD version release. None of these typos in the 3 games we've played are in it. All the typos have been fixed in the HD re-release. Please buy the HD trilogy. It might even come to Switch. There are rumors on the Switch, so please support the Ace Attorney series. Help fund the 7th game.
Oh, God.
And buy the HD version. None of these typos are here. The judge, despite all of his setbacks, is not a pedophile. And he wants nothing but to uphold justice. With that, let's continue past the slip-up.
This is what was on your report card every year. Has poor hearing and often makes mistakes as a result.
How did you?
Phoenix, raise your head high. Up high. Have you forgotten what I used to tell you? A lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. That voice! No way! Mia! No time no see, Phoenix. Mia! Oh, but intro. This is the true power of the Crying Brutality technique. The true power to summon my former mentor so that she can help me in my court cases.
In all of the cases, it's not real. It's only when Maya shows up.
It's only when Mia shows up. I know that it's really Maya who's standing before me, but right now she's my mentor, Mia Fey. Now, let's do this. But there's nothing more we can do, Mia. But I need more testimony. I can't cross-examine. Not yet. The testimony is not over yet. But what do you mean? Your Honor, just now you said something very interesting. You have cross-examined every statement the witness has made here today.
Yes, that's true, but...
Unfortunately, Your Honor, you've forgotten something. Earlier, after the last cross-examination, this witness made a number of remarks.
Well now, Sir Lawyer, it seems that love wins out in the end after all. I am the ace detective, as well as Master Mask. My verdict will verify that. Just as Rhonda Lights will verify that he is the true murderer. I declare that with the full force of my ace detectiveness.
Oh man, Mia's got those loopholes, man!
Yeah.
Mia's got those loopholes!
Yes, but these comments appear to have no importance whatsoever.
Very well, then we shall prove their importance via cross-examination. At any rate, as long as the witness has made these remarks, we, the defense, assert our right to question them. Is it that all right with you, prosecutor?
Is something the matter, Mr. Godot? Nothing. Oh, so lawyer, it looks like you're one step too late. If you think such falsehoods will do anything to me, look at... Let's hear it. Huh? It's true that the witness made some remarks. So then, let's hear this last bit of cross-examination. Mr. Godot, why are you?
Nope.
Very well then, look at me. I'll allow the defense to cross-examine your earlier remarks.
The defense would like to hear why you declare the defendant to be the true murderer.
So please, give us one last bit of testimony.
Phoenix, this is it. This is our absolute last chance. Yes, Chief.
Last testimony. Indeed, it is true that I was not at Lord Taylor. I had to leave to see about another vitally important job request.
What? That's bullshit.
I had known about the date beforehand, so I had this photograph readied. My brilliant deduction was what informed me that the true culprit was Rhonda Light. And thanks to the keycard and wallets, it was abundantly clear that he was there. I was also able to make a deduction from the buzzer, which only sounded once.
What?
The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? The victim would have left prints if he sounded it, which means the killer sounded it. Ron Delight was wearing Master Mask's outfit, which is why he left no prints. And the blackmail letter? The victim likely mistook the color of the jewel. Zavari. Therefore, all of the evidence points to that poor boy.
This story actually seems to hold up pretty well.
The witness's earlier remarks did not appear to make the witness's earlier remarks do not appear to have been hastily prepared. All of his points have been. It's a good thing it's quiet. All of his points have been made. I apologize. All of his points have been explained, and none of them seem to contradict anything. But of course. But how did you know about the emergency buzzer?
The judge got it.
The police investigation documents went directly through me.
What? No, it didn't. It would not have gone through you for a murder.
Yeah. And I always look over all the documents. It's elementary, sir lawyer.
You wouldn't have gotten for the murder, only for the fucking stolen urn.
Are you gonna make even more trouble for us now, sir lawyer?
Yes.
I will not allow any. I will not allow any of your usual shenanigans, Mr. Wright.
Yes, Your Honor.
We cannot postpone Luke Atmey's trial any longer. This is your last chance.
Hang on a sec. Just one chance?
Huh. It seems that the party's about to begin.
Well, Phoenix, there aren't any evidence that contradicts that testimony, so it was seen. Well, what do you mean, so it was seen? Listen, Phoenix, pointing out contradictions doesn't always mean you have to present evidence, does it? At any rate, this is our last chance. If you can't point out a case-breaking contradiction, you lose. That's all there is to it.
Cup number 17. The last cup. It seems like the time has come to put an end to this trial.
I have to find a fatal contradiction in this testimony. And I need to point it out without presenting evidence. Which means all I have to do is find the contradictory remarks and press it. Remember, you only get one chance. So I can only press one date? Is that what they're telling me?
Yes. Very well. Then begin your cross-examination, Mr. Wright.
Okay. Okay. I have this photograph ready. Thanks to keycard and wallet. There. Make the buzzer which sound once. Left turn. Sounded. Where is back to us? Why no print? Wait, mistook the color of the jewel? Are you fucking kidding me?
Nah. Let be. So, the documents went through him, so he knows that the buzzer only sounded once.
Wait. I'm not presenting.
No.
Don't press the
Yeah, I know, yeah.
button. I'm just telling myself
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You mean he saw everything when he was before the case? Or the trial?
The fact is that he already knows that the buzzer was sounded once. So unfortunately, that's not a contradiction that we can press on.
Job. Ready this photograph, which is what's true.
True. Brilliant deduction. Culprit Ron Delight.
That's true.
Sounded
That's also
once.
true.
The victim would have left fingerprints if it sounded, which means the killer sounded it.
Which is true.
Mr. Dart was wearing Master Mask outfit, which is why he left no prints.
Also true. But
But
why would he know he was wearing the Master Mask outfit?
yes, Exactly.
Mr. Emmy, about this last remark.
Objection.
You still don't get it, do you, Trite? This isn't the time to be pressing the witness on every little statement.
I'm afraid you're the one who still doesn't get it, Mr. Godot.
What?
Mr. Emmy, it seems you have finally admitted that you were in the CEO's office on the night of the murder.
How can you say that?
Let's review your testimony, shall we, Mr. Emmy? The button did not have any fingerprints on it. Why? Mr. Delight was wearing his Master Mask outfit, is that correct?
Indeed. That is why I said my deductions are absolutely foolproof.
More like your detection proves that you're a fool.
Hey! I'm sorry? Whatever do you mean? For some reason, I'm starting to get really thirsty.
Oh, but that was your 17th cup, wasn't it? When exactly did we learn that? When exactly did we learn that the fact that Ron Delight was dressed as Master Mask when he went to the scene of the crime? I want to say crime scene, but every time they switch it up, I'm like, oh no.
That was, it was a few hours ago. Back when my 6th cup was looking at me with a cold stare.
Huh? Oh, did I forget to mention it before? I'm sorry. I just never had a chance to mention it up until now. That's right. The defendant has yet to tell anyone else this fact before this morning. Therefore, the only people who should know about this are those who have been watching this trial. Do you understand now, Detective Atme? There's no way you should have known about that. You are in the next courtroom being tried as Master Mask. So then, enlighten us. Just how did you know about that piece of information?
Well,
Objection.
come on. This detective must have known about it. He probably had plenty of chances to find out beforehand.
And it's those chances that I want to discuss next. That night, Mr. Delight was wearing his mask outfit. There is one and only one way for Detective Admin to have found that out.
Only one. One way, you say?
Please remember, if you will, Mr. Delight's testimony. When I entered the office, there was a suspicious shadow there. For a second, my client witnessed the real killer.
Objection.
But Mr. Delight never saw him. There's no way no way to tell whether or not the real killer was Luke Atme.
It's with that statement that I'll turn this case on its head.
Just what are you implying?
Mr. Delight saw the real killer, correct? Now, if you turn that statement around, it stands to follow that the real killer has also seen Ron Delight.
Impossible.
Detective Emmy, you saw Master Mask at the murder scene that night. You saw him when you killed Kane Bowler and assaulted Ron Delight. That was the only way you could have known that what Ron was wearing.
Shit, I hope Edgeworth's okay.
Edgeworth is out of the country, remember? It's okay.
I know, but it sounds like an earthquake. Take a good look, everyone. Unable to find a rival worthy of my genius, I was forced to create one myself. Here I am, the tragic clown. That's the same line you gave yesterday.
But I think there's a little more meaning behind it this time.
What an awfully complicated incident. Kane Bullard was blackmailing Luke Atme, who was in turn blackmailing Ron Delight. And upon killing his blackmailer, Luke Atme tried to frame Ron Delight. Then he claimed to be guilty as Master Mask in order to escape his true crime.
And to that end, he came up with this plan, to use the double jeopardy rule when making his alibi.
At any rate, it would seem that we've finally found the truth.
Excuse me.
I came perilously close to besmirching the record of an innocent young man. Besmirching him with the title of murderer.
Wow. Don't ignore me!
Oh, I didn't realize you were there.
What would he be? About the verdict.
I know. You never committed any murder.
That's right. I'm so glad you understand that, but I really am Master Mask!
Huh?
So thanks to that trial yesterday, I'm innocent now, right? What was it that you said? Double jeopardy?
Now that you're mentioning it, I've been careless.
Oh god! Was this why you told me? The last recording section?
Yes! So, in the last recording session, Echo asked, but, you know, since Rondelite actually is Master Mask, he's gonna get punished, right? Unfortunately, I could only answer as, Double Jeopardy comes into play. Just because it applies to Luke at me, but because of Double Jeopardy, it also applies to our witness and our client.
But if he admitted it, it still doesn't...
He still can't be tried for it.
Careless? What do you think, Mia? As the defendant says, the rule of double jeopardy is absolute. A defendant can never be tried twice for a crime in which he was once found innocent. Then, Master Mask is really innocent? For now, it would seem so. But for now?
Now, the exception is if he steals again.
I guess.
And so, now then, this court finds the defendant not guilty
Of murder.
of murder.
What?
He was also
Oh my
found not
gosh.
guilty of being Master Mask.
Wait, boy, this is really lucky. Wait, this isn't so good after all. You see, the thing is, I still am Master Mask after all.
And fade out. October 14th, 3:35 p.m. Lobby 4.
You did it, Nick.
Thanks, Mia. It's been a long time, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's because Maya didn't call me much these days. Doesn't call me.
Yeah. Oh?
I'm just joking, Phoenix. Don't take everything so seriously. But on the other hand, Maya, she seems kind of lost these days.
You mean about becoming the master of Korea and channeling school?
Becoming the master means saying goodbye to our mother.
You mean Misty Faye?
Watch over her, will you, Phoenix?
Of course!
Well then, see you around.
Mia.
Mr. Wright. I don't know what to say.
Congratulations, Mr. Delight.
On not being a murderer.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. No, wait. Nothing really matters anymore, though. Now that all this has happened. Come on, just be happy already.
Maya.
You've been clear of the murder charges and got off as Master Mask to boot. But in exchange, I lost everything.
Huh?
Huh? What do you mean? Stealing security information from KB Security, becoming Master Mask. I did all for one reason. For her.
You mean your wife, Desiree.
She hates criminal more than anything.
Come think of it, she was once held hostage by some robbers, wasn't she?
She always said how she hated sneaky criminals. I knew that, but once I got fired from KB Security and lost all the money I had, she wouldn't have any reason to stay with me. I thought she would leave me for sure.
So that's why you became Master Mask.
Yes, but it's over now. A broken bowl can never be put back together.
Adrian Andrews.
That's not true, right, Nick?
Right.
Really? Can we go back to the way things were? Not ever again, but you'll be fine, and Nick can prove it.
I can. Well, I kind of wish you would check with me first. Mr. Delight, even a bowl is broken, there's always a way to put it back together. It's pretty straightforward.
The sacred urn. Dizzy was the one who found this.
Desiree, your wife. She always believed in you, Ron. That's why you'll be fine. You don't have to worry about anything.
Ah, there you are!
Miss Delight!
You did it, Ronnie! You're innocent! I'm so happy! Thank you! I appreciate that, but, I suppose you don't want anything to do with me, do you? Don't you? Do you? Ronnie, why didn't you talk to me about what was going on? I had no idea you quit KB security. Quit. I never imagined that you were really Master Mass Eater. Miss Delight, what are you going to do now that you know? You're not going to really leave him, are you? Come on, it's obvious, isn't it? How could I ever leave a wonderful man like him get away? How could I ever let a wonderful man like him get away? After all, my bike's really fast. So fast there's no way he'd ever be able to get away.
But didn't you say that you hated criminals?
Huh? Oh! I only hate people who act all cowardly and sneaky. Like that detective.
I see.
My Ronnie went and declared his crimes before he committed them, like a man. I just love a man who's so chivalrous. Chivalrous? I knew I was right about you. Every day I spent with you is filled with thrills and excitement. Dizzy!
Desiree, you really do love Ron, don't you?
Nicky boy,
Yes?
I'm really glad I asked you to defend my Ronnie. Thank you so much. I'll never forget what you've done for us.
Oh, well, take care of yourself.
You too, Nicky boy.
Gulp. I can feel my face going red.
Mr. Nick! Mr. Meyer! Congratulations!
Talk about bad timing.
Mr. Nick! How could you? With another man's wife in front of Mystic Meyer?
No, you've got it all wrong!
I'll never forgive you! Never! Ever! Oh no! Oh my!
So, just as the case came to a close, so too did my consciousness.
Pearls knocked him unconscious! This child, I love you so much.
I know, right? Ron said a broken bowl can never be put back together. But I know that's not true. I mean, just look.
Wait! What? Are you kidding me? Them cracks? Them there?
Yeah, they're there.
But not in the records.
It's a small sprite.
Still.
Here's the perfect example of one that was put back together, even better than before.
Are you comparing a 9-year-old's arts and craft to an adult's arts and craft on big pieces that could easily be put back together? I'll get you some paint remover, Maya. It'll be good as new.
Episode 2, Stolen Turnabout. The end. Okay, guys, long episode, but there was no way I was cutting that off. It would have been an incredibly short episode. But, in the next episode, we will go forward to Turnabout Recipe.
Oh my gosh, they're cooking in this.
We will see you guys in the next episode.
Bye.